Wife, 30F, told me, 32M, that I'm ugly many times. Do you have any advice? I told my wife that there are things I can't afford anymore, since we recently bought a house and the mortgage is very expensive. I told her we should hold on for now and not go on vacation for the time being, as we need to save up and pay the mortgage and everything else. Sometimes I tell her it might be just better to sell the house and go back to an apartment, as we could be wealthier that way. We split the mortgage and groceries since there's no way I can afford it by myself, but I pay for everything else. However, she keeps telling me that I'm ugly and that guys like me should suck it up and pay for everything without complaining. She also says that I should consider myself lucky to have her and she shouldn't even have to share any of her income with me. She also says that all her family thinks that I'm ugly and that she only accepted to marry me almost out of pity, while also thinking that I would buy her a house out of my own pocket. I have no idea who told her I would ever do that, as there's simply no way that I would ever be able to afford an entire house with my income alone. She did move from another city to come live with me, but it's probably because life is slightly cheaper here. I obviously got mad and haven't spoken much to her since, but whenever I ask her for an apology she instead keeps insisting that she was only saying the truth about me being ugly, and also pretty much repeating what her family is saying as well. This has obviously ruined my self-esteem and I have been in a mild depression for a few days. Being told to your face that you are ugly and that everyone agrees is not easy to swallow. It's very depressing and sad. Especially when it comes from someone that is supposed to love you no matter what. Please, I need some advice. If you were in my shoes, what would you do? Thank you to all. This is a deeply abusive marriage. I'm sorry you're going through this. You aren't ugly. She is abusive and entitled. You're not ugly, she is. I'm not one to be quick to say divorce at all, as that's against my beliefs, but honestly divorce and find someone who values you. You deserve a lot better than that. Entitled brat ID put her out. So sorry op. Divorce 100%, no questions whatsoever. There's no way in hell any self-respecting person would tolerate that treatment from anyone, much less his wife. Are you able to get out of this marriage? Is the house in your name alone? This sub is super easy with telling people to divorce, break up. But this time I agree. This is a disgraceful way to treat a partner. You deserve better. Dump her and sell the house for a profit once interest rates drop. My boyfriend, 29M, said he wouldn't stay with me if I lost my hair, 32F. What do I do? Looking for someone to share their life wisdom here. I've been dating my 32F boyfriend, 29M, for 4 months and things are going pretty well. I've dated some awful people and I tried to go outside my type and it worked. However, he does say some problematic stuff and I can't decide if I'm dramatic or if these are red flags I'm blind to. Today we were joking around and I was like, would you stay with me if I lost all my hair? And he laughed and said no and then couldn't tell why I got upset. Both my parents have had cancer twice, so I guess I'm sensitive to it. To me it just screamed that he's not or will not be in love with me. Or is he just shallow? He hasn't had a lot of hardships in his life and may not have the same outlook on what love is as I do. The fact that he does say some problematic stuff was already reason to conclude that this is not your person. Dump. The truth is he'd probably leave at the first mention of cancer than stuck around long enough for your hair to fall out from treatment. Men are notoriously known to abandon partner when they become seriously ill. Ask any divorce attorney. He's shown you who he is. Believe him. To me it just screamed that he's not or will not be in love with me. Or is he just shallow? Are either of these acceptable? Break up. 4 months is way too early to be judging someone's ability to love you through something as big as cancer, especially off a flippant remark. You barely know if he'd love you through doing the groceries at that point. Also, you gave him zero context for why this would be a genuine question over the classic, would you love me if I was a worm, trope. You need to relax a little. Ignore the immature man children on here telling you that asking a question like that is wrong. It's very important because men are more likely than women to leave their partners when they get sick. This is a fact. I, 32M, drove my coworker, 23F, home and feel weird, creepy? This might sound ridiculous to worry about, but I drove my coworker to her hotel after a team dinner. Dropping her off was on the way to my hotel. I said, do you want me to give you a ride back to your hotel? She said something about how she didn't want to bother me if it wasn't on the way. I checked the map and it was on the way. I feel like I forced her to say yes and I did not intend to do this at all. It wasn't awkward, but I feel weird about it and feel like I pressured her to say yes and it might have come across as creepy from my side. I genuinely figured it would be easier to save on Uber costs since it was on the way. Now I am worried about this whole situation. I won't ever do this again. Then just chill and see what comes of it. Don't add extra on top of creepy by trying to gain her agreement that it wasn't creepy. If nothing comes of it, just forget about it as a nice thing you did. If you weren't creepy at the end, asking for a hug or trying to give her a kiss on the cheek or get her number or something, then you're fine. If you're that worried, don't do it again, but it doesn't sound like you forced her to do anything. You are overthinking this. She is an adult, capable of saying no thanks. She instead checked that she wasn't having you go out of your way. If you just dropped her at her hotel and didn't invite yourself to her room, you did nothing creepy. As a woman, I think you're okay. The fact that you're a coworker and she said yes makes me think she initially didn't want to be a bother, but with your reassurance she agreed to let you drive her. I typically respond the same way when people I'm not that close to offer to do things for me, and most women are the same. If she felt unsafe or creeped out by you, I'm sure she would have said no, especially since it sounds like there were other coworkers around and she would be able to approach them if she truly felt unsafe. I do think it's really cool of you to even consider you might have made her uncomfortable. A lot of men don't realize how scary it can be for women to just exist, and the fact you asked this question really shows that you aren't creepy. Since she said yes to you, it's probably that you weren't being creepy. Otherwise, she would have rejected your favor politely. And possibly, she didn't want to inconvenience you by going your way to drop her off. It's just a ride. I've given married coworkers rides home. Based on your opening posts, nothing seems strange. The only way it might seem strange is if you were more insistent than you described, or other info is missing. Just don't start acting strange at work by avoiding her when you'd normally interact with her. Physical abuse? 23 female married to 30 male. I'm 22F married to 30 MFOR 5 years and I wanted to see if what I'm going through is normal. Around 2 years ago my husband slapped me in the face hard because I said, "Jesus Christ." He told me that's using Christ's name in vain and to never say it again. When we fight sometimes he will wrap his hands around my throat and squeeze, but not to the point where I can't breathe. Today just 5 minutes ago he was stretching his back and I asked him, "What happened, getting old?" Obviously joking, and I was smiling. He swung back of his hand and hit side of my thigh really bad, my muscle still hurts. When I told him to get out of the room and that was a physical abuse, he said he barely hit me and didn't even use all his strength. My question is, has anyone gone through something like this? Not heavy physical abuse but definitely signs of it? Any physical abuse is 100% wrong. Plus, what you're going through seems pretty severe. There's a lot of research that strangling leads to even worse behavior over time. Please leave as soon as you safely can. For 5 years means you've been groomed by this much older man who is now exerting more control over you in the form of physical abuse. Please leave as soon as you can and tell whoever you trust and have near about this. Abusers thrive in secrecy. You are much too young to throw your life away with such an evil, violent person. This is domestic violence. It's only going to get worse. End the relationship yesterday. Men who strangle their partners are 7 times more likely to kill them. You need to get out now. Do you have any friends or family you can reach out to? If not, look up women's shelters in your area. Run, run, run. P.S. Please visit www.loveisrespect.org and take the relationship quiz. It is designed to check for abusive behaviors. I would also recommend reading Why Does He Do That? By Lundy Bancroft. There's a free PDF for it online. No, it's not normal. What he's doing is against the law. Make an escape plan and leave him safely. I know you don't know any different because you were 17 when you got married, just a baby, but I am telling you this is not normal. I've been with my partner for 10 years and he has never raised a hand to me, not even in jest. The strangling is especially awful. All it would take is for him to lose control one time and you would lose your life. Please, please, please start making a plan to get out of there safely. I am thinking of you.